Hey guys, just wanted to bring you a quick review of Polarstar's new modular regulator system, otherwise known as MRS. This is Polarstar's attempt at making a HPA regulator, and I had the pleasure of running it the past 2 weekends, both indoor and outdoor fields, and I must say it has performed phenomenally. I picked this up from airsoftjunkies.com. I'll leave a link in the description, and let's get into it. So in the back, you'll see the internal workings, the anatomy of the HPA regulator itself, and with captions on the side. You can see here it says made in the US, which is a great thing. In the box, once you open it, you'll be greeted with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This is their manual. Just an overview, installation tips, on off, pressure adjustment, tournament lock, and on the back you got HPA safety awareness, just do's and don'ts. And next in the box you have the regulator itself. Mine didn't come with the tools, so I don't imagine any of you will get any tools. I opted for getting the standalone regulator because I already have HPA lines. If you wanted to get HPA lines, there are 2 other options for a mid-length line and a longer line. I believe they run anywhere from $140 to $155. Don't quote me on that. And so here's the regulator. One of the standout things about this is the on-off valve, or on-off screw switch, whatever you want to call it. So this is similar to what you would see in other regulators, only it is integrated into this nice compact design. You get to depressurize the regulator and keep it on your tank without sacrificing real estate or compactability. One of the great features in here is this tournament lock. The way they designed this, it was super simple. You don't need to weave anything or weave any through new holes. It's just one go with the zip tie and you're done. I can demonstrate this right now. Let's see, yeah, this one. It's got my handy dandy zip tie. What you're going to do is take your 3x32, I believe, Allen key. You're going to adjust the pressure on the back, right for depressurizing and then left for increasing pressure. And then when you're done, you just close this down, put the zip tie on top of it, there we go. And then you would snip this off. And then you are set. You are now turning locked and ready to play within your field regulations. Now you're not able to go up and down with this, so this is where the adjustment screw was, and you cannot access that without cutting off the tie, and you need to go re-chrono. So here, I don't know if you can see, there's a little hole right here. This is a bleed hole, just in case there's any leaking, which is a nice feature that is cut through the turning lock. The gauge reads from 0 to 160, but this is the output pressure of this regulator is between 40 and 145. Most HPA engines don't go that high, so I don't imagine you need to over pressurize this. It's a nice compact design. It screws on directly to your tank. As so, and you can see it's pressurized at about 90 psi. And to depressurize it, you would unscrew that on-off valve counterclockwise, and then you would just keep going in and out, and then now you are at 0 psi. Could screw this off. And just cut off the zip tie. And you're all set. No harm. Very, very simple design. This is says that there is a 4mm piston bore for extremely high flow rate and refresh rate. That is one of the biggest reasons why I chose to get the Polarstar regulator. I've been having problems with other SLP regulators and LPRs, and the refresh rate was just one of the biggest problems, where I would say have my gun shooting at 1.5 joules or 400 feet per second with a 0.2 gram BB, and chroning with a 0.2 gram BB, and then doing some rapid shots on semi or a quick burst on full auto. The FPS would drop significantly down to 360 or 370 FPS. That is a 30 FPS difference from where I set it. And that's just insane. That's not acceptable. And I've looked through forums, and I looked through, talked to a bunch of other techs, and they say you just need to keep your regulator nice and lubricated, and I did. I maintained it very well, but still the refresh rate was just too slow. This one is just amazingly fast, just instantaneous. If you keep it at 400 feet per second, you will have it always 400 feet per second, plus or minus a couple FPS. The FPS variation may depend on your HPA system itself or your barrel and bucking combo, because your BB may not be seated properly every single time in the exact spot, giving you different FPS reads. So once again, just an overview. You got a gauge reading 0 to 160. You have the nice tournament lock with the simple zip tie function, and then you have a very nice on-off valve, so you get to depressurize your gun or depressurize the regulator without screwing it off your tank. And so now I'm gonna bring you to a little chrono test, a little shooting review, and then showing you the refresh rate on this regulator with 0.2 gram BBs, 0.25 gram BBs, and 0.32 gram BBs at different PSI levels. So I'd say we'd start at 40 PSI, 60, 80, 100, and then we'll go all the way up to maybe 120, we'll see. Alright, we'll see you with the review. The gun I'll be using today for the chrono test is my custom SMP Gen 2 build that I've been working on for the past year or so. Externally it doesn't matter, it won't affect the performance, but internally I have a 400mm Orga 6.23 widebore barrel in a M4 MAD. The gun I'll be using for the chrono test today is my custom SMP Gen 2 build that I've been working on for the past year or so. Externally, it doesn't matter, it won't affect the performance, but internally I have a 400mm 6.23 Orga widebore barrel in a M4 Pro-Win hop-up unit with a Mad Bull Red Shark hop-up bucking and a Numazo flat hop knob. The gun is flat top. Just letting you guys know my setup so you can see why there are the consistencies or inconsistencies that there is. For the sake of this test, the dwell is set to the max, so I don't have to continue setting it. We don't have to worry about joule creep in this scenario because we are just testing the consistency for the FPS. You might argue that the dwell might affect the FPS, but just if it did, it'd be very minuscule. So we'll get off to the shooting review. Before I do the chrono test, I just wanted to give you guys a visual representation of how fast the refresh rate is on this regulator. So right now I got it at 80 PSI. I'm going to do some dry fire shots just to show you how fast the needle goes back up quickly. As you can see, there is no lag time. It's not going down to 60 PSI and slowly creeping up to back to 80 PSI. It's going back to 80 PSI pretty fast. And this is a quick burst on full auto. And there you go. You can see that the needle is going back really fast and it's holding up to its really fast refresh rate. Let's see what the FPS comes out to. Hey guys, so I got my mag set up. 3 mags, each of them is holding 0.2s, 0.25s, and 0.32 gram BBs. I'll be shooting each of those BBs at each set FPS I decide to shoot. Right now I'm going to be starting at 50 PSI. Only because my regulator is not letting me go down to 40. The grub screw is showing some resistance and I don't want to break anything, so I'm just going to leave it at 50 PSI. I'm going to go up to 60, 80, 100, 110, and maybe 120, depending if it'll let me go that high, and I don't want to break anything. But yeah, so I'll be starting at 50 PSI, and then we'll go up there. So we'll be starting with the first mag, which is 0.2 gram BBs, and then we'll go up from there. So I'm going to be doing, let's focus this. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some quick shots in semi and then a few bursts on full auto just so you can see the consistency. So, here we go. 301, 304, 305, 306, 305, 296, 300, 294, 299, 298. That was 0.2s. Now 0.25s. 277, 280, 283, 280, 273, 275, 0.32 gram BBs, 250, 259, 250, 259, 259, 249, 252. Here we go, 0.2s with 60 psi, 337, 338, 339, 329, 329, 0.25s, 308, 309, 309, 311, 314, 304, 305, 306. Now for 0.32s, 284, 285, 288, 280, 285, 279. 80 psi with 0.2 gram BBs, 279, 281, 379, 381, 374, 373, 373, 372, 373, now 0.25, 352, 354, 352, 349, 346, 347, 349, 350. Now 0.32 gram BBs, 323, 323, 322, 322, 319, 318, 319, 320. Okay, 0.2s at 100 psi, 420, 419, 419, 417, 415, 415, 415. 0.25s at 100 psi, 391, 391, 393, 391, 386, 386, 390, 389, now 0.32s at 100 psi, 361, 360, 358, 359, 353, 357, 352, 355. Now we're at 0.20s at 120 psi, 457, 457, 450, 453, 458, 455, 455, 0.25s at 120 psi, 424, 424, 423, 425, 423, 424, 424, 426, 427. We're at 0.32 gram BVs at 120 psi. 391, 391, 392, 389, 393, 391, 391, 391, 390. And that concludes the shooting review. As you can see, there was some fluctuation in FPS. This is angled that perfectly, so I was hitting the sensors at a different angle, so it may have had something to do with the inconsistencies. But for the most part, you saw there was a plus or minus about 5 FPS, whether increase or decrease. And I'm good with that. That using heavier BBs helps with the consistency overall. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this review. This is the review for the Polarstar MRS regulator. I'm really happy with my purchase. Hope you guys, or hope this helped you guys with any questions. If not, throw them in the comments, and hopefully I can get to you once I got. Once again, I got this at airsoftjunkies.com. Link will be in the description. And thank you for watching.